panel for actually stealing these three phrases from my presentation. So I want to sort of build that connect from what the panel spoke about. In fact, the topic given to us was shattering the existing frameworks and how do we look at the future of education, right? So when we talk about future, I think this is a quote by William Gibson, that the future is already here. It's only that it is not evenly distributed. So I'm going to build on this and connect what Pearson is trying to do and how are we wanting to work with the learners. The fundamental question is, why would the ways of learning change? I think three fundamental premises. Today's learners are actually growing up in a world which is far more complex than what we were probably at the same time. It's also difficult to predict the nature of the changes which shall happen in the next 15, 20 years. Thirdly, developing a higher degree of cognitive skills becomes extremely vital as we progress in the journey. We're going to talk about very briefly 5 trends of the future of learning. I think the subject of the conference says it all. We would believe that almost 90-95% of the schools will get into digital learning. This is the classroom of tomorrow. We also believe that students are digital natives. I don't need to elaborate that. And educators and stakeholders here know this fundamentally very well. But I guess the Pearson research tells us that the learners decide personal learning paths, and this is something which I'm going to be talking about a little later. What we're also trying to understand and evaluate the entire ethos is, how do we make the transformation from pure play knowledge to skills? Lastly, this is what I actually had to say, and I'm going to sort of briefly talk about how Pearson believes what is the way forward for infrastructure and process. Question, when it comes to digital learning, how many of these icons would we identify in the 90s? None. Okay, so if you look at the classrooms of tomorrow, how are they going to be fundamentally different from the classrooms of today? That I think this space is going to get more and more interesting. We spoke about skills. What we're trying to do is, how does the Pearson way of teaching learning impact the character of the child? What is that we can do to improve values like curiosity, gratitude, grit, optimism, self-control, social intelligence, and zest amongst children? Okay. Now, what we believe, we've discussed enough of infrastructure. What we believe at Pearson is, how do you make this entire continuum of the digital learning, the virtual learning, the self-learning, and the skills come together to deliver superior learner outcomes? Our suggestion is, how does process work with infrastructure created to deliver superior learner outcomes? Now, for example, if you look at how we believe learning process is a stepwise process, and if we can work with the stakeholders, we can actually create superior learner outcomes and impact. Yeah. So what I'm going to talk about a little later actually elaborates some of this. This with fundamental premise that at Pearson we are on a mission to help people make progress in their lives through access to better learning, by helping them along the journey in this process. And if you see, where are we, which space we are in? We are into the K-12 space, which is a school. We are into the higher education and also the professional learning piece. So we address all aspects of learning, which is blended services, digital, print, and physical. amongst the K-12, I mean, all of you know us as a publisher. We've been there in this space for the last 18 years. We have been working with many institutions in our learning services products. But we have made a couple of advancements here. We've got into blended learning, blended offerings, which is what we call Active Teach. I would request you to take some time off to visit our stall to get to know more about what I'm talking about. Now, taking this ahead, I want to speak about a couple of minutes on what is the Pearson research and development team telling us. What we believe is we have created this unique, and again I'm borrowing this phrase from all-round learning to something what we believe is integrated learning. So we are talking about a solution which has something at the school as something at home, which combines the print, the digital, and the assessment. And here, I know a lot of thoughts have gone in on the assessment. What we want to talk about is the assessment for learning and not assessment of the learning. Right? So, a small video which actually tells about how MyPedia would sort of help us connect with the learners ahead.
We do a lot of activities in our classes and our studies are becoming very interesting. We all learn about the things we see around us. Our teacher asks us a lot of questions and we all get to answer it.
Every child learns differently, but every child deserves to be attended to equally and be engaged in the learning process. Ensuring this through conventional teaching methods is not always easy for the teacher. Presenting MyPedia, the country's only fully integrated learning program that promises measurable improvement in cognitive skills of the learner. It's not a product or a solution, but a learning ecosystem created within the school. One which integrates all learning and teaching tools in a well-designed manner.
Today we are going to learn about push and pull. Can anyone tell me what is push?
MyPedia enables teachers to engage students by enabling them to develop a meaningful understanding of the complex associations within a topic. The lesson plans are designed such that it encompasses the skills defined in Bloom's levels of thinking. MyPedia is a fully integrated solution that meets the overall needs of the school, with special emphasis on its digital needs, creating a complete learning ecosystem.
The in-depth assessment tool of MyPedia is a game changer for me.
I get reports regularly. It's not like once in a while like before. In addition, my child is focused on her studies as the learning environment is set at home too.
Teaching is fun nowadays. Students have started enjoying learning in the classroom.
It had very well-defined teaching objectives and learning outcomes.
I think this is a good day. I don't have to work with so many vendors. Pearson takes care of all my needs, starting from installation, books, and assessment. They have been wonderful academic partners.
Call 1800 300 1200 for free demo now.
Thank you so much on behalf of Team Pearson. Thank you.